Oh, we're live. We're live. Hello, guys. This is the fucking season, right? It's
Oh yeah.
Christmas.
Happy
Christmas means
holidays.
toys, and Christmas also means nostalgia. But before I get into the topic at hand, first of all, I just want to introduce two awesome guests. First off, we have the frightfully looking, but always awesome and fantastic Strange Monkey. Dude does absolutely stellar fucking movie reviews. If you haven't checked out his channel, what the fuck you doing? What the fuck you? Well, don't switch over just yet. But after, check out his channel. And then right underneath us here is an absolute fucking legend of a toy reviewer, the horror cat dad. He reviews everything from NECA to Hot Toys to any kind of figure you can think of. Guy's
Thank
got a
you.
collection. He loves his fucking horror figures, and you have to check out the channel. So, guys, what the fuck are we discussing? We are discussing something that's nostalgic to me, but also an oddity. And I think it pertains mainly to myself and the two lads here's generation and other guys. Like if you were to ask Eric, hey internet, Eric here, if you were to ask a bunch of other guys around our age group, the 80s and 90s, the likes of Kenner and Calco ruled the roost with lines of figures that, for all intents and purposes, shouldn't fucking exist because they're based on properties that people shouldn't have been watching at the fucking time. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about Kenner doing the likes of Alien, Predator, Terminator, Beetlejuice. I'm also talking about Calico's Rambo. They also done it was also Robocop figures. Strange Monkey pointed out as well Toxic Avenger figures, or
Yes.
the Toxic Defenders, which was based on the license of Toxic Avenger. So I'm gonna start, Monkey. I'm gonna start with you, dude. Do you think do you think this was something that is just because nowadays I don't think it would fly, but do you think it was something that was specific to our generation? And do you think it was a case that studios knew that our parents were a lot more kind of liberal with what they let us watch?
It could have been just a case of them making money. Like at
Oh,
the end of
that's
the
yeah.
day, yeah, I mean, when when you have properties like that, they make a lot of money and they just probably thought, you know what? The kids will love it. And, regardless if the parents want them or not. Because like they used to release all of those types of toys back then, and people like kids would demand it. They see it on TV and they want it. And these people knew that they were going to make money regardless. Um, so yeah, I hope that answers your question. I think that's what it came down to, money.
No, no, without a doubt, it was financially driven. Um, like I don't know if focus groups were as big back then as they are now, but I could certainly see. Hey, Gert, I could and Brian Masks is also in the chat. I could see them like bringing in a bunch of kids and going, "Hey, what do your folks let you watch on TV or what movies you watch?" And like they're like, Predator, Terminator, fuck, we're
Yeah,
gonna,
that could have been possible.
yeah. Um, what about yourself, Harakat? Dad? Do you think it was a thing that studios were or toy companies were like, hey, we gotta find out what the kids are into and what they're watching? Or do you think it's like, hey, we better make a vehicle, we better make a kind of a spin-off cartoon so we can get a bit of leeway to do this? Or do you think it was like um a bit of both?
Honestly, I think I honestly my opinion is I blame Star Wars, or people can blame Star Wars because if you really think about it, I mean, Star Wars started it all for Kenner especially. Um, it was just like well, nobody thought like Star Wars was gonna sell any toys, and look what it did. So I feel like that's part of it, but I think the other part is what are like you said, what are kids like into right now? So they started making toys for everything, like aliens, predator, like cool stuff, or what
Well,
we consider cool stuff. Parents didn't like
Yeah.
it, obviously, probably, but um, I
it,
think
it
that's part of it. I mean, I think there's like separate pieces to that.
it was very kind of what's toyetic, what sells.
Right.
Um,
We can
Like-
make vehicles. We can make toys out of it. I mean, just look at McDonald's too. McDonald's would make toys out of like look at the whole fiasco with Batman Returns.
Oh
like,
yeah,
fans were
yeah.
upset about that. And I mean, I love those toys that from Batman. I love Batman Returns, but I had and I still have one of the toys from that where the Batmobile like splits off. I still have that. So it's just
I had that. That's amazing. I remember that.
like I think McDonald's and Kenner were like, what the fuck, when like Danny DeVito comes up out of the pool with like green shite leaking out his mouth and fucking
great.
That's
fucking
when my parents lost it, and they went on this whole rant, and that's what led to Batman Forever being changed, and and same with Batman and Robin. But those figures, I do remember them. I had the same one that Cat Dad mentioned about the Batmobile splitting, and I think there was one with the Penguin, if I'm not mistaken. I think I
in
had one.
the duck.
Yeah, the duck, and I think it was like it starts to twirl or something like that.
but
Something like
but-
it's been a
but-
while.
but guys, after the fiasco that was that, then how the fuck were these released? I mean,
I don't know.
like-
I had that figure. That's the one I was talking about.
This guy
Terminator
here?
figure. Yeah, the strong arm. one.
I've one more question for you, and again, it's if you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but and it's no judgment on anyone's parentage. My own folks, there was a rule. So Saturday nights, my dad used to take me to either Pace Video or Extravision, and the rule was you can rent anything you want, but there's no tits and there's no fucking in. So I'd like, can I rent this? And dad, again, my dad's like a dude from the country, okay? He fucking old school fucking country dude. He's like, hey John, is there any tits or riding in this? No, grand, you can rent it. Just straight across the fucking video store. You'd say that.
Nice.
So Monkey, what about you? Were your folks very strict about what you watched, or was there maybe, hey, it's an alien monster killing people, he can determine it's not real?
I would say it was more of like my mom being strict about what I watched. Like, same things like no sex or any nudity like that. Or we would just fast forward. That's basically what the rule was. If it was something that was extremely violent, then maybe that would be a problem. But when I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6, I already watched Terminator 2. So it was just it was too late by that point. Like, I knew what the difference was between right and wrong when I watched action movies like that. But if there were certain things that they didn't think, like my parents didn't think that was appropriate, then it was a no for me.
Yeah, I think parents had the common sense, and one thing I always was jealous with the United States was you guys have like you had the N17 kind of certificate. It's like it without adult supervision, you could watch it, but so long as there was an adult with you, right? That was your kind of code, or am I totally fucking
The
that up?
NC-17 rating.
The NC-17 rating was more of like if it was like almost close to like
18s,
like
kinda.
even over R.
Okay.
NC-17 is over R. So
That's
I think
the
of like
highest you can go. Yeah.
Okay.
before it's like XXX or whatever.
But like,
Yeah,
oh, sorry, Monkey.
most-
One.
No, I was gonna say this. Most studios and filmmakers, they would tend to. The goal was to bring that rating down, cut as much stuff you could as possible, in order to get an R rating.
Yeah, because I mean, perfect example, Jason 7. I mean, that thing is like butchered down to like,
Yeah,
I mean, there's blood and gore in it, but I mean, they kept coming back because then the ratings people were just like, it's still, overrated R. It's like still NC-17, so they got it down to finally an R, but we missed out on a lot of other stuff, which now,
it really is a shame.
yeah.
Cat Dad, what about yourself, dude? Did your folks have any kind of inbuilt rules to you renting or what you could watch, or were they fairly strict?
Well, Honestly, it's strange. Like, it's like you all. It was the same thing. It's like cover your eyes whenever there was like sex scene or
Yeah.
nudity or anything like that. So for me, it was just, and I mean, I have to say my mom was super cool because she introduced me to like the Universal monsters, and she was pretty much okay with me watching like Predator, RoboCop, all that stuff. So yeah, and even my uncles too. They would show me the Rambo movies. They would show me like, I would watch most of the Freddy movies and Jason movies and stuff at my cousin's house, as I've said before, and other videos and stuff. But yeah, I mean, unless it was like nudity or something like that, they would be like cover your eyes, and that I would have to. That's the only times is during that. People getting dismembered, perfectly fine.
Like they kind of tease at that. Don't know if you guys have seen the Blob remake. Do you guys remember when the kids are over at Shawnee Smith's house, and
Yeah.
they're saying they're going to sneak into a movie, and it's like, oh, well, what is? Don't worry, it's only slice and dice. There's no nudity or sex or anything like that. Just seemed to be the earmark of what was okay, what parents would tolerate. But as Horror Cat Dad had said, Kenner took off with Star Wars. They were the one company that like took Lucas seriously, and they're like, okay, we need something else, space age. And now keep in mind, this is before these ones were released, so they're like, okay, Ridley Scott's got this movie coming out called Alien. Let's Cat Dad knows where I'm going with this. Let's see what the this movie is all about, and we got this here.
Kenner presents new alien action figure.
Oh my God.
The alien's locked out now. He got through. Shh. Give up. Alien can't be beat. We'll zap him with the light. Don't, he'll destroy the space. We lost. Gotta find another ship.
I-
Let's try the kitchen. Another trial for Alien.
Alien action figure. New from Kenner.
Lads, I don't think any of the lads who made that figure watched the fucking movie.
Probably
So,
not.
I think it was a case that it was just like, this movie's out. We need something that's like Star Wars. What do we got? And I was like, let's make an alien figure. There was fucking uproar over that. I mean, you've got the xenomorph, which its head looks like a dick. There's no fucking beating around the bush here. You're like kids going around, hey, check out my alien monster. Like
And
that.
doing
Cat Dad, why do you think that didn't float, but these guys were given a pass later on? Do you think it was the time, or do you think it was just what? Why
Yeah,
do you think?
I definitely think it was a time. I mean, still, it was like, I mean, we're talking still in the 70s. Even then, like, I'm trying to think of what other toys were out there other than Star Wars. It was like G.I. Joe, Barbie, all the normal stuff. So when you see like a big old like alien sort of creature like that, and then they reference back to the film, anybody who watches the film and what happens, it's like, yeah, you're gonna have all these church groups and mom groups or whatever, like pitchforks. So that's why I didn't go anywhere. But in the 80s, I feel like that's where it kind of started again. I think Star Wars started. We never saw any Jaws figures either.
Yeah,
We never see any Jaws toys back then either. Maybe like a puppet or something here or there. I don't know. It's like a one
I
of those.
think there was. I
I've
think
seen
there was
one.
a board game. I think the
Mm.
most you got was a board game. What about you, Strange Monkey? Why do you think that didn't fly, but the later Kenner figures, kind of alien Kenner figures, were given the pass?
Before I answer, I do want to point out I have seen a Jaws figure. It's more of like a game, like a toy. Basically, there are a bunch of items that are inside of Jaws's mouth, and you have to take it like a hook, take it out of his mouth before the jaw snaps shut. That's the only thing that I have
Oh,
seen from back then. I think it was because that was the first of its kind. That a giant figure like that, and they needed merchandise, to make more money. And they probably thought, this is too violent for kids. This is this giant creature. But as time went on, and then Aliens comes out, and it becomes like one of the biggest movies ever, and everyone loves it. It's popular with everybody. So I'm guessing during that time, they didn't care at this point, and they probably thought, okay, this is the time. Like, we have to do this now. Sell all the merch, all the toys. Everyone will buy it. It doesn't matter. So it's a changing of the times, I guess you could say.
Yeah, there was, and myself and Kata discussed this on a stream a while back. There was a proposed animated series. Now, to try and do a kind of pitch, they cobbled together, and I never fucking took the screenshots of it. They tried to cobble together a trailer, an animated trailer for the action figures that that was essentially kind of G.I. Joe-esque, except with the Marines fighting the aliens.
Oh,
This
wow.
never came to fruition, but we did get a bunch of these trailers, and I'll just show you the next one. And
Okay.
this one should be this one should fucking tickle your fancy because it's a bit silly.
These steel-jawed beasts have a hunger for destruction. Can they be stopped by the ultimate galactic hunter? Predator! The battle is on. Aliens versus Predator, the hunter against the beast. An alien killer crab attacks. But
How
the
does a
Predator
crab
Tusk
get
fires
pissed
Sodermont
off?
missiles, and Predator Scavenge attacks with a double-barreled bola, each sold separately.
Nice.
Will Predator win the battle against the evil aliens? Aliens versus Predator.
Wow.
I
That's
I actually
amazing.
had that one though, with the broken tusk.
That
tusk.
one was by Christ, they reused that fucking mold like fuck. This is the same figure, just
Oh, wow.
in red plastic. So we didn't get the animated series, but we got a bunch of waves. So the first wave to come out was the Aliens wave, which consisted of the Queen Alien, Scorpion Alien, Gorilla Alien, and Bull Alien. The Marines, again, I don't think the person watched fucking Aliens, was Ripley, Hicks, Bishop, Jesus Christ, Bishop. You got. Hang on,
Hey, there it is.
hang on,
There it is.
I'm gonna do solo
had that.
layout. You got Hicks, and but there's fucking Bishop again. Strange Monkey. Does that looks like Lance Henriksen, right? Oh,
It actually looks. Now, I had both of those figures and Ripley, and I've got to say, Bishop looks like Alex Murphy,
Yeah,
if anything.
totally agree with you. Totally
yeah.
agree with you.
but
No, I had those two, and like yourself. Sorry to cut you off, Strange Monkey. I had Ripley also. I had my favorite was Drake. I had Drake also. I don't
he
know what
was
happened to
just
those
kind of
figures.
screen accurate because he came with a smart gun. A lot of the
Mhm.
guys came with like fucking loopy shit, man. Like they were bolo launchers, or there was someone had a hard on for fucking grappling hooks at Kenner. There wasn't one figure that wasn't released that didn't have a grappling hook. Fucking Ellie Statler had a grappling hook. Danny from fucking Last Action Hero had a grappling hook. The amount of Batmans that came with bazookas that had fucking
Yep.
grappling hooks, it's like, well, Batman makes fucking sense, but I digress. We got a bunch of really fucking out there looking
Weird.
kind of
Weird
figures.
fucking figures.
I mean, when it came to the alien figures, it's like I thought it was pretty cool because you had the gorilla alien where like, you know, it would spit the water. That was it was an interesting idea. You had the bull alien also where like it did the battering ram when you push the trigger or whatever, which I had that figure too. Like I had a ton of the aliens, like the alien figures minus the queen. So like I told you in the other stream, I'm like super jealous, man, that you actually have that. That's super cool.
John, we're not talking about them kind of R-rated figures, but thanks for your fucking input.
Have any of you? I have a question. Have any of you seen those alien figures that came out a couple of years back?
Yes,
I see
have
them
a
at
couple.
Walmart. They were like purple xenomorphs.
Yeah,
Have-
they're
have you-
lanyard. They're lanyard.
Okay.
Lanyard done alien. Lanyard somehow, I don't know how the fuck. Again, if this is a blast from the past. So if you were one of the kids who couldn't afford G.I. Joe, you got the core, and Lanyard were the guys who came up with the core.
Okay, gotcha.
And
Okay.
they, as the kids say, they grinded for years and they got scooped up a bunch of licenses. They got Alien, they got Predator, they got Rampage, the Monsterverse. They have the rights to the fucking Monsterverse figures. And yeah, it's they those figures are pretty cool. I got a bunch of them off Gen when they were first released because they weren't released out here. But
Yeah.
Yeah, a buddy of mine has a bunch of those 2-packs from Walmart, the Predators and the Aliens.
yeah,
Very unique figures, I will say that.
Yeah, they're definitely they got that old school Kenner feel, but yeah, I'm too spoiled now with NECA, man. I can't.
NECA just rules everything.
Yeah,
I think there
pretty
was
much.
a goal there that to do some sort of Kenner throwback. Like I immediately when I looked at them and I was like, this reminds me of Kenner.
I think that's what they were going for. And the clever bastards were like, we can make Marines as well. This is Gorman and Ash and it was all the fucking core figures, just with a different paint scheme. They're like, yeah, fucking take out the core figures. But before I move on, guys, okay, as Horrorcat Dad was saying, there was some very fucking cool alien figures, but some of them didn't make sense. For example, how the fuck did a crab get face hugged? Can someone
The
explain to
fuck?
me that's
I've never seen that.
that's the killer crab alien, because you know a crab can get fucking
Oh,
face hugged.
It
A
was
Yeah, that
gorilla,
one looked so
it was this
ridiculous.
way because the crabs are like this, right? So maybe it was like
yeah,
from under.
but no, the fucking size. Like, is it an alien crab?
Doesn't
Is
make
it
any
something-
sense.
Did the face huggers get loose in the seafood restaurant? What the fuck happened here? Like, you know,
If you guys played the video game, the Super Nintendo AVP game, I think the final boss was like a bat predator.
yeah,
It
no,
was like
that was the
or-
Flying Queen one, and
that
I
was
have
it.
I have
Not-
two
not
of
a-
them. My other one is at the top of my Christmas tree. If anyone's on my Instagram, you
Oh
can
my
see her at the
God.
top of my Christmas tree. But so we got a bunch of weird figures, and like it was like, okay, I get it, you know. You don't want the same brown fucking species alien, but we got a bunch of movie figures of characters as Horror Cat Dad said. We got Hicks, we got Ripley, we got fucking Apone, we got
Apone,
Drake, but who here remembers Atax? Does anyone here?
Who?
Do you remember Atax? Do you remember Atax? You remember him and Bill Paxton were like shooting and shit? No, you don't, because this dude, he was made up for the line. He basically disguised himself as an alien queen to sneak in and destroy alien eggs. And
Oh my God.
let's not forget O'Malley either, the most Irish looking fucking action figure you can ever fucking see.
See, where the fuck was ATAX to stop them from putting that alien in the fucking Sulaco for Alien 3? Had he been there, none of this shit would have ever
Yeah,
happened.
no, Atax, you had one fucking job, Atax.
Right?
You had one fucking job.
Ridiculous.
So Wave 2 introduced O'Malley, Vasquez, and Hudson, and a bunch of other animal ones, such as a rhino alien, night cougar alien, and there's a night cougar. And no, it's not an alien that attacks you in a bar and starts grabbing your ass and going, "Hey, young
Wild.
fella." No, the proper night cougar. But by Wave 3, they're like, okay, we need to mix things up. So they started putting predators into it. And the predators were cool. Some of them were a bit goofy. Cat Dad, did you have any of the predator figure? You said you'd Crack Tusk, but did you have any other ones, or can you remember any other ones?
No, I didn't have any of the other ones just because like the Crack Tusk was the only one that I thought looked cool. The other ones were kind of like, eh. I feel like they put in a lot of effort for the Alien line, whereas with the Predator line, they kind of went all over the place with it. I know where's that one that has like all the tentacles?
Oh,
and
Clan
stuff?
Leader with
Clan
whipping
Leader.
dreadlocks. And
Yeah,
then
I was like, I thought maybe that one was kind of cool, but like the lava one looked kind of weird. I'm like, okay, now they're just
But
throwing.
he's on a planet with a volcano. What color is he going to change to? Come on, man. Um, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Like again, as Hurricane Dad said, when you're getting to the point where one of them is called Spiketail, a
Yeah.
predator that turns his fucking dreadlocks into a morning star to fucking slap aliens in the face. You're going beyond the pale. I still love them, and they actually made a vehicle, which I done a review on. The fucking Blade Fighter, which
Oh
was
my God.
basically like a fucking, basically like their kind of Harley of Predator stuff. But
That was in the deleted scene for part 2, right?
yeah, it was. I don't know if any. Again, I'm going into a nerdy tangent here, but you fucking know I'm a fucking giant geek. I think sometimes directors of newer stuff take inspiration. I don't know if you played the Alien versus Predator game for 2010 that came out for the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
When you're playing as the alien, the last level you fight a bunch of predators in a temple arena, and they come down in these kind of weird fucking drop craft, and they look a bit like this. So I'm wondering, was whoever designed them, were they a fan of that fucking figure? Maybe they were, maybe weren't. Strange Monkey, what did you think of the Alien and Predator line from Kenner? Do you think it was a bit silly? Do you think it was cool? Do you think that's
Well, since we have gone through the history, I would say it started off with a unique approach, and then it just got ridiculous as it went on. By wave 3, it just got ridiculous.
it's like you got a giant face hugger that constricts people and fucking
Just wild stuff.
And I mean, that's cool that they're coming up. They were coming up with ideas for it, but it's just like I feel some of the stuff was a little okay. It's a little out there.
Yeah, but do you think at the same time they were like, okay, we still gotta appeal to kids. This has to be kind of toyetic. Like you couldn't have the same color, the same style. Fucking, well, they did have the same fucking style Predator a couple of times, but they changed up the color, they changed up the armor and stuff. Do you think that was that while a bit too zany? Do you think it was a good kind of marketing or kind of creative decision?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you if you go off on same Kenner, but look at the Batman line, look at how many different Batmans there were, and how many different variations of the
So
same mold
many.
that they had. It was just,
So
it was, and there were still several of them that were pretty cool. So I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that there were same with the Predators. I mean, even though I just like the cracked tusk, I mean, I'm sure somebody was like, oh, I want this the king predator or the clan leader predator, and or even that the crab, the crab alien. It's like
I think
like
that's what I think that I don't mean to cut you off. I think that's what's so interesting about these figures is that I think these people who worked on them had a lot of creative freedom to these aren't the films, these are action figures, so let's change things up and make a crab alien or crab predator or whatever. And that would put the attention on them on that toy line and like, oh, what's this? I've never seen this. This wasn't in the movie. I want to buy this.
Yeah, so you think Monkey even at the time there was adult collectors going, hey, I'm gonna fucking pick this up, or
Absolutely. There had to have been.
the other thing is, as I said, we never got an animated series, but the first two waves, and I think maybe a couple of figures in the Predator line as well came with little Dark Horse comics. So I back in the day, guys, before studios were 100% on making an animated series, they'd always pack mini comics. You got that as well with Masters of the Universe. You got mini comics, and it was kind of like a kind of cheat at, oh yeah, there's a story to this. There's a story bunch of fucking bullshit.
well, I think, sorry to cut you off. I think for the aliens one, it was there were kind of like little bio, right, stories for each character, if I'm not mistaken.
There was a bio card, but there was also, now here's the thing, because I know it could have been vice versa, but either you guys had the comics and we didn't, or it was either we didn't, ye didn't have the comics and we did. It was a little paper. They were about 5 pages, and they were just rolled up next to the figure. Do you remember them, Cat? That
Yeah, I do. This I remember the one for Bishop for sure.
Desert Storm. That was the one for fucking Bishop. He was.
That's what I'm
fighting.
saying. Like, I think it was just like either a story. It wasn't really a bio, but I think it was just a story for each character. There was like a small story. But if I remember correctly, I think they were all supposed to connect into like a full story.
Yeah,
Like
there
small story,
was a
whatever.
loose arc, because I think when they re-released before Disney and Marvel took over, the last kind of collection, actually Aliens collection, actually had those mini comics collected. Good figure line, and as Monkey said, if someone was an Alien fan, be it 11 or 111, they probably might have picked these up. That's going on to another Jim Cameron property that was turned into a toy line, and this one's a bit more interesting. I'm going to be charitable, because some of the figures are like, okay, this makes no sense, but we'll run with it.
Oh, here we go.
Terminator.
I'm back. Got to find John Connor.
But evil T-1000 gets to him first.
Hey, back off.
Terminator's heavy metal psycho zeroes in and fires. But T-1000 stands to get even.
This is for getting on my bad side. You're next, John Connor. I'm back.
Terminator deploys his secret weapon.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Terminated.
This time.
Terminator.
What was the secret weapon?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. Was it a
chest
mullet?
burster.
What? Like, I don't know what the fuck. There's not even a missile in here. There's not even a fucking missile. The only thing he comes at him with an Elvis fucking pompadour. That's the
I
only
was gonna be like,
fucking-
it was his hairpiece. That's what it was.
Oh, thank you very much. Like,
Oh my god.
these ones were kind of all over the gaff. They were like the Alien and Predator ones. They were fair fun. As Monkey said, he had this one. I think everyone and their fucking grandmother. I don't know. Here, guys, give me 2 seconds. Solo later. I think everyone and their grandmother had this figure. This was like the
That's
fucking.
the one.
That was the kind of dare I say, figurehead for the line, and it's where they had like claws, grabbing claws, and fucking chests that open. This guy glows in the dark. I don't know how fucking. Apparently, he survived the nuclear blast, and all his skin came off, and now he glows in the dark.
Wasn't there one where it had like a machine, like a mold machine or something like that? Like you could
There was you basically put him into a kind of a press and press down this kind of slime. That slime was a fucking thing as well.
I had the T-1000, that exploding one. I had that one. I had that one, and then I want to say, did they make an exoskeleton one?
They did. They made a couple. They had the regular silver one. Then they had this glow in the dark dude, and then there was one in gold for some fucking reason.
No, I had the regular one. Then I was like, I remember having that. I don't think I had any of the Arnold ones.
But also just to show you guys something as well. One more thing. I guarantee you, fucking Robert Patrick wasn't given the same lucrative deal. But just I don't know if you can see it, but the fucking likeness, they even in this bad quality, you can tell they used the likeness of Arnie for this figure.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's one other weird thing is this is they've kind of made this Arnie kind of weedy. He's like he's still got muscle, but then you've got this fucking dude who's just fucking jacked. I mean, look at the fucking arms on him. It's like
Mr. Olympia with the Terminator right there.
He's carrying that big gun. That's why.
I'm a cybernetic organism. You're doing fucking performance enhancers, Arnie. Okay, admit it. No, I'm really a robot from the future.
Well, that's because that's at the beginning of the film. Like he stopped taking the supplements, and that's why he got like scrawny towards the end.
Hey, Mystic Mac. Monkey, did you have any of the you had Arnie growing up? Had you any other Terminator figures? Can you remember anything? Again, this was one that didn't have either a comic or a fucking animated show, so this was a bit weird.
From that toy line, that the Power Arm T2
Yeah.
T800, I thought I had John Connor, but I may have gotten mixed up with Danny from Last Action Hero. But I want to say Marcus from Terminator Salvation. That's the
Yeah,
only other figure.
Why do you think Kenner, again, because with the Alien one, there was a proposed, as Monkey and myself had discussed, there was a proposed animated series and then a comic, but this you had nothing. Do you think the studios are like, okay, kids are watching this fucking movie
I
without
don't think
fucking
it
shit?
needed one. I mean, T2 was the biggest movie at that time. I don't think it needed a series. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can tell like back then, you know, RoboCop had an animated series, Rambo had an animated series. I mean, they could have easily tried to do something like that with Terminator, but up there is that
Chuck Norris.
Chuck
oh,
Norris.
Chuck Norris had his own series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I get when I follow these Instagram nostalgia pages. Like, I found out Chuck Norris had his own animated series. But I'm very surprised that Terminator did not have one. But again, that movie stood out as one of the best movies. It was making a shitload of money. The action figures alone, like, it didn't need an animated series. I mean, but they could have easily done it for sure.
Do you think it was just a case of kids hearing about Terminator and going, I want the action figures, and not necessarily having to see the movie? Because even then, the movie when it came out was 15s. Well, 15s over here. What was it? Fucking
could have been.
stateside.
I mean, it was a very popular film, and kids were just like, at that time, it didn't matter. Like, a few years have gone by after Ghostbusters, and these studios, again, it's all about money, but Terminator was so popular that the kids are definitely going to want to play with any action figures, because Arnold was such a badass, still is to this day. And you have the T800 being the hero this time around. So I don't know, maybe people could relate to that. You have this hero and you got this action figure kicking so much ass. So I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point.
No. Yeah, you make a good point. That the film was so big that either parents are like, yeah, it's fucking Arnold, so let's let the kids watch it, or
Yeah.
it's like the movie was so big, regardless if the kids have seen it or not. I want a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger figure. He's a robot. He's cool. He's fighting other robots. Like,
And another point, 2 was not as gory as 1.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, so I think that's what may have given that a pass. And maybe parents were like, okay, this is fine.
It definitely was a lot more sanitized than the first outing. But again, it was like the dude in the fucking asylum getting fucking skewered through the eyeball, or
oh yeah,
remember he's just fucking twitching on the end of the finger.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I see where you're coming from as well, Monkey. That it's like this thing was so big that regardless of certification, kids wanted in on it. Cat Dad, what's your thoughts? Do you think that it was like Monkey says, it was so big, kids there was no choice but to give something for kids to have for the movie?
Yeah, I mean, he made a good point on that. Because it was everywhere. Like, I remember seeing like at Halloween, you get a mask and it was like half, Arnold, half of the exoskeleton. I remember wanting that when I was a kid. I mean, I feel like they did do a lot of stuff for it, but it wasn't like what I was gonna say is, if you actually look at those Terminator lines, how many of those Arnie figures did they actually make? So it's like all I remember is the 2 that you showed, and then plus the exoskeletons, and then John Connor and the T1000. Like I don't remember them doing like multiple waves of that, and I think it's just because I mean it really didn't need it. I think they kind of like they didn't. It's not like the other one where they were like just doing all these ideas. It's either because either James Cameron was too like, no, I want my vision to be that way, because that could have been it too. You know, it could have just been like, or the rights for Arnie's likeness were getting too expensive, so they couldn't make too many. You know, I mean, it could be a couple of reasons. I mean, I think that that movie was so big that they were just like, whatever you would think they would have done more stuff because it's so
May have
big. They
been
were just
some
kinda like,
limitations. There,
right.
sorry to cut you off. There might have been, as far as like likeness goes, there may have been limitations, which is why you didn't see a lot of Arnold's figures.
Mhm.
Actually, you guys do make a good point. Whereas something I did notice, okay, so this guy was reproduced 4 different times with 4 different color schemes, maybe new attachments for the arm and such forth. But the thing I find interesting is the Arnie likeness, the good solid Arnie likeness. Hey, Cara, the good solid Arnie likeness is used for the half face, and then the OK whenever they were using the OK Arnie likeness, it was when he had his glasses on.
Yeah.
So you're probably right. It was likeness issues. And then you got the surplus figures. And Cat Dad, I know you think the fucking Predators were bad. We got Extron 6, which was basically a Skynet. It's Skynet downloaded into a robot that looks like Satan, that's legs and arms fucking extend. You
Do
also
you have
got,
this figure?
no,
I gotta look this up.
I gotta find it. I have a Battle Across Terminator Battle Across Time term, and again,
This is wild.
it's fucking nuts. Terminator 2 Battle Across Time figure. Sorry about this, guys.
No, take your time.
Just it's essentially supposed to be Skynet downloaded into a robot that looks like Satan. I shit you fucking not. Where is it?
It's almost like evil speak, but you know, Terminator.
It fucking is, man. It's crazy. Shit. Basically, it looked like fucking Satan. It was Christ. And the one time I want to find it, I can't find the fucking thing. I'm honest to God, lads, I didn't drop acid. I amn't on fucking psychedelics. This figure fucking existed.
Sounds insane.
It was fucking insane, Monkey. It was fucking crazy. I mean, we even got other dudes who I don't even fucking remember this dude in the fucking
Who released this?
Kenner. This was Kenner. This was
my
this was when the wave was running out, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have Arnie's likeness anymore. What do? We start making up our own figures, and it was fucking bizarre as fuck."
Well, I think what they
man.
should have done is they should have just made something with the exoskeletons, like just do like they had the different color scheme. I mean,
Yeah.
they could have done, you know, like more of like why didn't we ever get one of those like hunter killers, you know, or one of those like that would have been
Like a-
like super cool. I've always wanted one of those.
Like one of the rubber skin Terminators that disguise themselves or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah, because you
Lad-
have like in the first one, you have that one Terminator that comes and kills everybody, and
Yeah. That's the one.
and like in the dream sequence, you know.
Shit. I cannot find this, and I swear to God, I'm not making this. You're like, yeah.
I'm gonna have to look this up, man.
The Irishman's on the sauce, of course. Fuck me sideways. Where the fuck? Basically, he was a big satanic-looking endoskeleton that Skynet downloaded itself into, and its arms and legs could extend. Fuck it. I'll find it again. But
And this is from the Terminator 2 line, correct?
yeah, this is the Terminator 2 line. There was two spin-off lines. One was the Terminator 2 3D line, which was you could only get those figures at the shop that was outside
Oh,
ride.
no wonder. I was gonna say, like, what?
Wow.
They had this?
and then they recycled them ones and they mixed them up with the original line and made 2 new figures. One was a dude, a human who had joined Skynet, and the other was a fucking Terminator who was essentially Skynet with horns. It was a Terminator with horns whose legs and arms could stretch out. And yeah, I damn
Oh,
it.
wow.
I'm
Did
looking
you-
up screenshots, and I haven't found it, but I found one that I did have that I remember. It's the one where like it's Arnie in the well, you can't see it on my phone, but it's the one where Arnie's just like in a tank top, and then like this part comes off.
Oh,
Is it
yeah,
this
yeah.
one?
That guy. No, not that guy. No, let me see if I
He's in
can.
yellow.
Yeah, I haven't
Ah.
seen. I don't remember that one, but yeah, it's. I don't know if you can tell
It
here.
says it's- yeah. It's like
Because
it looks like
I
it comes
remember
off.
that check. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just pops off. Like I had that one. I was like, oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that figure. And then there was this one too, but I didn't have this one. The and the likeness on this one is like ridiculous too. That T1000, the other version.
Oh, yeah. Again, that came out before
that-
the fucking. That came out before the movie. They kind of were given the script. They were only told the T1000 is going to be dressed as a motorcycle cop. Do you want to know his action feature? He fires missiles out his ass. I
the fuck?
fucking shit you not. You
Oh, I
flip
think I
him
remember
open,
that.
his ass flies up into a fucking turret. And there isn't even a sprint in. You have to flick them out. You have to flick this guy's ass to launch the fucking missiles. Hand on
There is-
fucking heart. I'm not making this fucking shit up. I
This
wish I-
one that I'm looking at, it says fires water to melt white hot T1000.
Yeah,
guess
that
the one that
I have
yeah.
that guy. Yeah.
Like it says here, free the making of Terminator 2 video when you buy any 3 Terminator 2 toys. Wow, they really had a deal going on.
I just saw the one you were talking about, the Satan looking one. I saw it in the screenshot.
Oh, I just found it as well. Hang on.
Oh, you have to pull that up. I
Okay,
need to see
give
this.
me 1 second, guys.
Yeah, take your time.
Jesus
This
Christ.
one's in a meme, but I don't know if you can really see it.
This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
This figure is ridiculous, man. Hang on.
shit.
That makes
Uh,
no
I
sense.
got- I got a-
mean, look at that. It's got the horns. It's got like rocket
Insane.
shoulder pads or something.
There
I
we
think
know.
go.
probably, the
Hang on,
3D
guys.
one.
Hang on. There it is. There's the
Yep.
fucker.
There it is.
Oh my god.
So basically, Skynet downloaded itself into this thing. What's it called?
What
Chrom-
the hell is
Chromium.
that?
Chromium.
Chromium
What the fuck?
is before
So
Chrome.
Skynet downloaded itself into that fucking thing?
Yeah.
Holy shit. See, that
Uh,
should have been the boss in Terminator 3D or in Terminator 3 or something.
Yeah, instead of the giant fucking liquid metal spider we got. But suffice to say, as bad as the Predator line was, the fucking Terminator line between T1000 firing missiles out his hole and fucking the anti-Terminator Christ there, we got some very and I think Monkey and Cat Dad sit on the head. They had limited use on Arnie's likeness. So they're like, what the fuck do we do? More endoskeletons, more fucking weird looking fucking things. You got a couple of vehicles, you got a bike, a car, and in Mexico you got a
The
helicopter.
car.
Yeah, I'm gonna here hold it up there again, and I'll show people. There we go.
What is that, a car?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
that's
car.
the Terminator's
Oh,
and
Mobile
for some
assault,
reason,
Nice.
something or another.
for some reason, there's a Terminator skull mounted on the hood. But yeah, it was a weird fucking line, and that was Kenner. That seems to be Kenner. Kenner also done Beetlejuice and a few other lines. So you guys know I'm not doing Total Kenner fanboy. I'm gonna show you a commercial for another figure line that came out in the 80s, based on another very popular action movie, and you'll probably tell by the music.
Evil has a new name. It's Savage, the secret army of vengeance and global evil. Today, Savage and its diabolical leader, General Warhawk, threaten the freedom of everyone on the face of the earth. Can anyone stop Savage? Rambo. He's not just another Joe. He's a fighting machine, expert in all tactical weapons and guerrilla warfare. Rambo's the one man you want when the going gets rough. But the fight won't be easy because General Warhawk doesn't fight fair, and he doesn't fight alone. Second in command is Sergeant Havoc. He thrives on treachery and dirty tricks. Mad Dog, he's one mean dude with a real short fuse. Gripper, a ruthless mercenary. He rewrote the book on
Fucking
combat.
let the time.
Nomad, a terrorist who's not above seizing hostages or planting a bomb. And the final member of Savage is the Black Dragon, a deadly ninja warrior. But if freedom and justice are to survive, the only hope is with Rambo and the Force of Freedom. Fighting alongside Rambo is Colonel Troutman, the toughest CO in the special. Turbo, an electronics whiz whose inventions keep the Force of Freedom one step ahead of Savage.
Wow.
He's always ready to swing into action. And the White Dragon, who, unlike his evil twin brother, uses his ninja powers only for good. The battle will be fierce. It'll be fought on the land and in the air. But with Rambo
nice.
and the Force of Freedom, justice and liberty will never surrender, no matter what they are.
I want to buy the whole set now.
The only
So
Rambo
where's
I had
that-
was the
Where's
one with.
that movie?
Yeah, I know, right? Where's that cartoon?
That was a cartoon.
I know there was a
Was it?
cartoon, but I mean that cartoon, that commercial right there should have been like the film or the series. I mean, that sounded
The whole
like
time I'm
legit.
thinking, I was like, if there's no Colonel Troutman, I don't want it. Like,
And fucking Richard Crenna. Now their figure line was released by Calico, and their whole gimmick was they had kind of mechanized toys without the use of batteries. The thing I loved, you
It's
probably
the
noticed,
helmet.
yeah, the helmet, but the motors were so fucking slow. So you've this badass guy rocking up with like a backpack with 6 Uzis, and it's just like, just grab the fucking Uzi off your back, man. You don't have to wait for this conveyor belt to fucking.
Taking 1,700 years for that thing.
It would have been shot like 10 times over by the time he waited for that to come over, you know?
Dude, just reach for your gun. No, I paid for this automated backpack. By Christ, I'm gonna fucking use it.
The government paid for this hardware, so I'm gonna use it.
I like the dig at G.I. Joe, even though they're obviously called this guy's no ordinary Joe. By the way, we have 2 ninjas that look like Storm Shadow and fucking
Right.
Snake Eyes. It's this one had a cartoon, but it was usually Rambo saving children from the Eiffel Tower, or feeding deer, or snowboarding. He was a Buddhist. They really leaned into the Buddhist thing. But the figure line, honest to God, the figure line was in the NRA's wet dream. You usually got 15 guns with each figure. You could get special if you lost the figure's weapons. You could get crates, weapon crates with about 30 different AK-47s and shotguns in it. You
Jesus.
also
Nice.
you got Savage's fucking compound, which was basically a Vietnam era fucking kind of concentration camp or fucking internment camp, and like there was even a pit with leeches that you could like drop Rambo into. I was like, what?
See,
the
now
fuck?
that would fly today.
Yeah, no, it
Something like
fucking
that.
it wouldn't.
No, definitely not.
The thing is, the animated series, in comparison to the figure line, it was like Rambo was like he'd only use guns as a last resort. And it's like you really picked the fucking wrong character if this is the fucking the
Yeah.
fight you're playing. Like, what do you think, Monkey? Do you think Rambo was the wrong character to make into a kid's cartoon and an action figure line?
I mean, just watch First Blood and First Blood Part 2. That's a both movies are very violent. There's a lot of use of guns in the second one, especially with Rambo. It's like, they needed to really think that through. It's like, do you really want this to be the face of your toy line? Someone who doesn't use guns? That was like, this man served in the fucking war. Like, come on now.
Yeah, it's fucking weird because they obviously Coleco obviously wanted to get some of that GI Joe money because there was like fucking again just the ninjas and some of the character designs. It was so fucking GI Joe, and it was even like at the end of each episode there was a PSA like. But if you were going to do it like fucking closer to the movie today, what was it? Today's letters are PTSD. Can you say PTSD, kids? It's like you're picking the wrong. Make a fucking character from scratch. Don't use Rambo. Cat Dad, what do you think? Do you think I'm raving here, or do you think I have some merit in what I say?
I think you have merit in what you say. I mean, I will say this: I don't mind the the PSAs that they would do. I just think that why would you sell the toys to have like to mirror the films, but the cartoon is like he's not using any weapons. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna sell the toys like this, just go full on, man. You don't have to show blood or anything, but I mean, hey, make it make it to what like the kids saw in the movies, or make it to what you're gearing it towards. Because I mean, even if you look at the RoboCop one, or you look at some of these other ones, I mean, I think with this one it's a little bit more harsh because it's kind of more based in reality, sort of, and that's why they kind of had to skew the cartoon to kind of be like a little bit more not as violent.
It's a good point.
Whereas if they did do a cartoon of predators, aliens, I mean, those are just they're
sci-fi monsters.
They're not real.
Yeah, whereas this, it's like it's as you said, this is a character who was in an actual factual conflict.
Right. So I think they kind of wanted. I feel like they probably were teetering on that line where like, well, we have these movies, we want to do a cartoon. Do we really want to, do this? Or but let's educate people with the PSAs. So I mean, yeah, I can understand the PTSD. I mean, because that's a real thing. Let show people this. Show that this is a real thing, or let people learn about it. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's not. It wasn't the right character to use for a cartoon. I mean, ultimately, if you're gonna go full on Rambo, you should just go on full on Rambo, not necessarily with the blood and gore and all that stuff. But I mean, hey, have them in like real conflicts, like GI Joe, where they were like fighting Cobra.
Yeah.
The other funny thing was, he used the knife a lot in the animated series, but not for cutting people or stabbing people, and just for like defusing wires and stuff. And it got to the point where it was like, you remember Topper Harley in Hot Shots Part 2?
Mm-hmm.
Did you remember all the shit his knife could do? Yeah, that fucking knife. It was, it was getting to that fucking level. Yeah. And I remember, and I wouldn't have been surprised if he had done a thing where he's drinking a can of Coke and stuck the knife into the Coke and just flipped open the handle and drank it.
I mean, realistically, what they should have done was they could have just like slapped an animated MacGyver over Rambo, and it's like, there you go. That
would have worked.
Exactly, that would make sense because he doesn't use guns. I don't know.
There was a bit of controversy and issue with the animated series in that I think it was Ultratech. They made a line of real sounding guns back in the day, which included Rambo weapons, and it sucks and it's really fucking sad. But the reason we all have nowadays yellow caps on the top of all our fucking toy guns was because back in the day, the real sounded guns, I think it was like an 8-year-old, was shot by the cops because he had one of these real sounding guns, and
That's unfortunate.
yeah, it's again, it's I think that tin with the orange plug should have been put on from the get go.
Yeah.
Like
Safety first.
yeah.
Yeah, just
Guys, I'm nattering on here, but before I finish up, I have one more topic I want to broach, and
okay.
but before I finish up, because I know Monkey actually compiled a list of all the stuff that Kenner released back in the day. You still got that that list there, bud, and just let us know what
What I,
properties that Kenner.
so what I have here, since we were discussing figures, I started thinking, okay, I know Kenner is going to be heavily discussed on this stream, so I just went through what I had when I was younger, or I probably still have somewhere. So I had that Terminator 2 power arm. I had Bishop. I had Hicks. I had Ripley. Batman Forever. I had the Riddler, Batman, and Robin. There were different ones where you can put like Robin's vest over him, cape. Riddler had this weird fucking like, it's like a TV screen over him, like with the question marks. I don't know what it did. And Batman, one of the many that, because that Batman figure, they've made so many designs. Batman and Robin, I had Batman, I think he was like a burgundy color, Robin with the logo, Batgirl with the mask, and then Bane would come with the tube around him, and it was just like your typical Bane figure, nothing special, just like regular Bane. I had, this is not Kenner, but this is Toy Biz. I had Batman 89 and the Joker, but Kenner, I have a, one second, let me grab him really quick.
Had you a lot of the Kenner stuff growing? I think we all fucking did. I think Kenner was our bread and butter back in the day, man.
Well, I mean, even look at the Ghostbuster figures were done by Kenner. The real
Yeah.
Ghostbuster figures. I had a bunch of those. I mean, they just they had a market on everything.
Okay, give us a look at the figures there.
So I've got here Superman, Captain America, and Aquaman. I Googled them, and apparently they were all made by Kenner. I just
Nice.
discovered this like earlier. Yeah, these were given to me as a gift last year. So yeah, those are some of the many Kenner figures that I own.
I think Kenner was the bread and butter. I mean, they were clever as well. Like reusing molds. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Robin Hood Prince Thieves line, Sherwood Forest was the Ewoks village. They just redone the Ewoks village.
Did not know that.
And Friar
I didn't know
Tuck was the Gamorrean Guard. You know the pig dudes in Return of the Jedi?
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah, they painted the arms human color, and they just put a Don DeLuise's looking head on
They
the
got
fucking
lazy.
Gamorrean Guard and put a fucking robe on him. So it was clever. But yeah, no, Kenner, while not most screen accurate figures are not the most fucking kind of sane looking figures. They had their finger on the pulse of what kids were watching, I think, and they knew what to market and they knew how to market it. And we still see today NECA lines. You get Kenner inspired Terminators, Kenner inspired Predators, Kenner inspired Aliens. So there's still a love for that fucking toy line, and yeah, it's. I don't think bar the deviation, as Monkey was pointing out, of Lannard somehow getting the license for Alien and Predator. I don't think it would fly nowadays to market kind of R-rated properties to kids.
Nah, I mean, it all depends on what it is, especially how things. But NECA is the one you like to get away with it now.
Yeah, but the NECA solely cater to fucking adults. I mean, no kid's gonna fucking fork out 45 quid, 35 quid, 25 quid, fucking 60 quid for a figure.
Yeah, you're right.
But
You'd be surprised though. You'd be very surprised because I mean, there's like some people that I've been to like a lot of conventions, and I've freak out with what some of these kids have, like stuff that's they're carrying this poster that's worth like 60, $70, and they're just like walking around kicking it as they're walking, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Oh,
So it's
like,
just
Crazy.
stuff like that. I mean, you never know. It's one of those things
Sure.
where I don't know, but you learn from that stuff growing up. Like if I would have known, I would have kept all my other like figures, my other Kenner figures and stuff like that. Like I just didn't realize it back then. You know. The other thing I wanted to say about like the Kenner line, I think really it's not just them having their finger on the pulse, but I think it's also because going back to Star Wars, I think a lot of places or a lot of movie studios were like, "Hey, we did Star Wars," so they're like,
it
"Oh,
gave him a bit of clout. It gave him a bit
right,
of clout, and a lot of studios are like, okay, we're not sure, but Kenner done fucking ganbusters
yeah."
for
I mean, at
this.
least that's my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like that was one thing that they had an up on everybody else. Is just
Had
like,
a
well,
they had a hold on.
mhm.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to switch gears now, and I'm going to briefly touch on the topic because I know the lads have stuff to do and places to be. So this week, Marvel announced that their newest omnibus, they're re-releasing all the Predator and Alien stories, and their first big omnibus, they're removing two stories. One is called Demon's Gold, and the other one is Hell Come a Walking. Hell Come a Walking is set during the American Civil War. Demon's Gold is set during World War II. The books are being removed from the compilations because they feature Confederates and Nazis, which I think is so fucking stupid and makes no fucking sense. Monkey, do you want to give your 2 cents or your thoughts on this?
If we're talking about something that took place during a different period of time, I mean, it is what it is. It's not hurting anybody, but I can understand why they removed it because not everyone is going to be okay with it. But Disney Disney tries to be very careful when it comes to stuff like that. This is from Disney, correct?
Yeah,
That they're
Disney
re-releasing
did
this?
Disney own Marvel, and they're like, okay, we don't want any stories that feature Nazis and Confederates, which I find very
Yeah,
hypocritical. Very
they're just
fucking
they hypocritical, yes, but at the same time they're also trying to play it safe. But then you look back, you're like, oh, what about Indiana Jones and it's stuff like that. But you know, it is what
um
it is at this point.
I think that if you're trying to whitewash or erase parts of history, no matter how ugly they are, that's problematic because where do you draw the line? Like, does that
Can't
mean
can't erase that.
and you shouldn't. And I know these are silly fucking comic books about an alien coming. I love the franchise, but I'm going to be honest. I know they're fucking silly fucking stories about an alien hunter killing people and
Yeah,
stuff like that. But I think it's interesting. The best Predator stories, and we just saw with Prey. We just fucking saw with Prey that a historical story can kick fucking ass.
yeah.
So to remove these, I think, is so counterproductive. It's like, oh, well, these might offend people, but you're also saying, so you're saying you're just going to fucking wipe out any acknowledgement of these fucking heinous kind of incidents through history. But the great thing about these comics that I keep telling people, right? People are like, oh, but there's Nazis and there's Confederates. And do you know the great thing about them, lads? The Predator makes shit of these guys. I mean, I could watch a Nazi being punched in the face or the fucking groin, but the Predator rips lads' heads off, Nazis' heads off, fucking, it impales Confederate fucking soldiers. I mean, if that's not something to fucking enjoy, I don't know what is. I know he's the villain, but I don't know. Cat Dad, sorry, I'm going on a fucking rant here. You've seen my video, you know what I'm like about this.
No, man, and it's totally fine. Like I feel pretty much the same way. I feel like for one, you know what you're getting into with the Predator Alien franchise. It's violent, it's bloody, it's gory. You know, how are you going to have that and then try to erase, like stories that have already been there? You bought the property. I understand you can do whatever you want to it. You can't erase history though. It is, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's not like they're doing anything to, they're doing stuff to Nazis. Like you said, is like, I'd find that hilarious. I think Dave Chappelle said it the best way in Chappelle's show. It's like apparently only, I'm paraphrasing. I think killing a slave driver is only funny to me and Neil.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's not like they're the Predators doing that to the bad guys. You know what I mean? So it's like just because you have that I don't know. It's just kind of, I can understand what they're trying to do. I understand that they're trying to like, oh, it's gonna trigger people and this and that. And it's like, well, I mean, for one, it's a comic book. If you go into some of the old X-Men stories, for example, or even the Captain America stories where he's fighting Nazis, so are we gonna?
Are we going to?
Why are we picking and choosing? You know what I mean?
It's
At the end of the day, it's
sorry.
just a work. No, I'm sorry. It's just, we talked at the same time. I was just gonna say, people have to remember, at the end of the day, this is just a work of fiction. It's not gonna hurt you. You're not gonna lose sleep over this at night. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
The other thing is like people are, oh, but this is so problematic. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a point I made in Prey. Okay, people were, Prey is fucking problematic when you think about it. When Naru was brought back to the hunters camp, and I think this is the reason did they say that they didn't want to remove the immersion by not translating to French? They are actually speaking proper French kind of dialogue. There's numerous mentions of them wanting to fucking rape Naru. That's not problematic. That's not fucking...
I mean, the way they were looking at her, body language, like you can tell that maybe they were planning on trying to take advantage of her like that. But if they didn't want to translate it, that's understandable.
But like, if you're a French speaker, you're gonna fucking... I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I'm getting annoyed about redneck picture books. I admit it. But
if I can interrupt real quick, Martin, I mean, I look at it another way to think about it is like, for me personally, when I saw, or the way I'm going to compare it is like, think of the old school trilogy, the Star Wars trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
All the aliens, they didn't have translations, so they could have been saying whatever, right?
Yeah,
I actually like that because it's more of like, wow, I wonder what they're saying, and then they'd have like somebody say, like, they would interact with them and you'd kind of get the gist of what they're saying. I mean, it's like this, and that's why I like this, that they didn't translate it, because it's like, oh man, it's kind of like,
it's from the natives' perspective that they did. Yeah.
And then the way Monkey said it was, he said it perfectly. It was like their mannerisms, you can you get that, like, oh man, these guys might, but they're not like, I feel like if they translate it and put that, I can understand people getting more upset from that, but people didn't get into an uproar because
Star Wars is a good comparison, like Han and Chewie. You have Han to sort of fill the gaps in.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what do you do then? Do you reprint the comics and remove the swastikas and the Confederate flag?
No.
No. Okay.
I think there's no purpose to. I mean, for one, again, like Monkey said, it's a work of fiction. It's not based on like, oh, this really happened, this Predator killed all these Nazis and stuff. Yeah, there's points in there like, yeah, the Nazis did exist, stuff like that. They did really horrible things, but where does it stop from there? Do you get rid of like Schindler's List? Do you get rid of Saving Private Ryan?
That's true.
There was a third story added to the censorship as well, called Race War, which a Predator goes into a prison based on San Quinton hunting. Have you read that one? And
I've heard of it.
It's imagine Predator ends up in the movie Blood In, Blood Out.
Oh,
That's the way I can,
shit.
I can describe it. But they're removing that as well. And I'm like, it makes sense because, yeah, he's going to go after fucking these guys are killers. These guys are murderers. These Nazis are murderers. Fucking gang members are murderers. Fucking Confederates are murderers. It's prey. It's all the same to him. And I just think they're like, what? Like, if if it goes any further, the only people Predator's going to have left to fight are Buddhist fucking monks. If fucking Disney have their way, lads. Like,
Yeah, but
It's
then they're
true
gonna
what you
they're gonna
said.
be canceled because they're like, oh, these guys are peaceful and they're killing
Yeah.
them. So that's what I'm saying. Where does it stop? You know? Like,
yeah,
Exactly. Like it's pointless. If I could sum it up, it's just pointless to even try to argue with this. It's like, what can you do?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I know. I'm an old man shouting at a cloud. Come here. I'm going to finish it up here because the guys have been more than fucking obliging with their time. But before I go, Monkey, what is on the hit list? What have you out and what is coming out that you want to pimp?
Today I actually released a worst of the worst review on Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. Better watch out.
Is that the one with Mickey Rooney?
No, that's number 5. This is the one with Bill Moseley with this giant dome on his head, which makes no sense at all. If you watch my review, you'll understand why.
it's like a live action Brainiac.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, Jesus. And is there anything else that you want to plug or pimp that's out that people should check out?
Just that's basically it. I mean, I had a Thanksgiving review before that, but this is the latest that I've got coming soon. I'm gonna be reviewing It's a Wonderful Knife.
Okay.
New Christmas movie.
So yeah, guys, make sure you check out Monkey's channel because it's awesome. Cat Dad, you've done a really cool review on Chucky. Is there any other reviews coming out or anything that you want to pimp out or talk about or kind of highlight?
I mean, yeah, the Chucky one was actually it was a last minute change from what I was gonna review. So yeah, that was one that I was like, oh, okay, and then I just, I'm gonna change my schedule. Yeah, the next stuff. I mean, I'll have a video come out Wednesday and a video come out Friday of next week. I will be on a live stream with Gareth from Video Tasties, Jay Harang on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. I'm not too sure on the specifics yet, but I think it's gonna be like a group against a group sort of thing. So
Kinda
it's gonna
quiz?
be interesting. I'm kind of going into it like with not a lot of like information going. So I have to get with Garrett and see what am I what am I walking into. But I got that coming up. Beyond that, that's about it. I think I have like another. I'm gonna be on Pugworld 316's channel in the new year, January,
Cool.
and yeah, that's about it, really.
Cool beans. Yeah, make sure you check out this guy's channel as well because if you're a collector or action figure aficionado, this is the channel to check out. Myself, I have I think 2 streams before Christmas. One of them is going to be a watch along of Die Hard 2, which hopefully will be on the 20th. And then myself and Jen are going to be reviewing 2006's Black Christmas because we seem to be the only 2 people on the planet that seem to like it. I don't know about
Make that 3 because that
3.
movie is awesome.
It's cool. We're still deciding on which ending we're going to watch because there's a couple of different endings to watch. But
Cool.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, please, guys, will you check out these 2 awesome gents here? And also, I want you.
Thank you.
I wants to thank all the people in the chat: Master of Fear, Cara, Mystic Mac, John Steele, Brian Masks, Garrett from Video Tasties, and whoever blundered in here and realized, Jesus, what are these fucking nerds talking about? Thank you for fucking participation. And again, thank you to these 2 fucking beautiful gentlemen for hanging out
Thank
and
you.
shooting
Thank you,
nerdy
man.
shoot me.
Thanks for having me on.
Come here, guys. Have a good evening. Okay, take care.
Yes,
Bye
take-
now. Bye bye.